Marvel made their own version of the Justice League? Welcome back, Nerd Squad. Today we're going to get to know Marvel's version of the Justice League a little bit better. And no, I am not talking about the Avengers. I'm actually talking about the Squadron Supreme, currently known in Heroes Reborn as the Squadron Supreme of America. Join me as we count down the top 10 Squadron Supreme facts you need to know. Let's get into it. Number 10, created by Roy Thomas and John Buscema originally created the team. The team is obviously meant to be Marvel's take on the famous DC superhero team, the Justice League, with each member standing in for a different member of the League. In the variation of the team that we see in Heroes Reborn, you can definitely see who was meant to evoke the presence of who from that Justice League team. But did you know that the team actually was introduced under a different name a few years prior? Number 9, Squadron Sinister. Squadron Supreme was originally inspired by another team that Roy Thomas had created, this time alongside Sal Buscema. This team was known as Squadron Sinister and was created by the Grand Master in the comics to combat the Avengers. Although they predate the Squadron Supreme in terms of their appearance, with the Squadron Sinister first appearing in Avengers issue 69 from 1969. We'd later learn that in canon, the Grand Master was actually inspired in their creation by the Squadron Supreme, which existed retroactively, I guess, within the canon at this point. Though, of course, we wouldn't know about that until the Squadron Supreme was actually created and introduced a few years later and more than 10 issues later in 1971. I love that. I love how they're like, this thing that came after us inspired the thing. It makes sense in the lore, not confusing at all. Number 8, not of this world. The Squadron Supreme are not actually from the main continuity of Earth 616. Instead, they hail from the alternate reality of Earth 712, 712, sometimes referred to as Earth S or Earth Squadron after the team themselves, which is how you know things must be messed up in Heroes Reborn because they don't even really belong in the 616 reality, never mind them appearing completely stitched into it somehow. In fact, the reality we see them appear in during the events of Heroes Reborn does not even have an established reality number yet, and it's actually possible that the version of the Squadron Supreme that we meet there are not even the same version as the team that hails from Earth 712. Trust me, there's more than one Squadron Supreme. We're gonna talk about it. Number 7, politically involved. In the reality of Earth 712, the Squadron Supreme ended up denouncing the government and would eventually take power themselves, deciding that it would be better if they ruled the United States. In a weird turn of events, they were kind of right. This happened after they realized their president wasn't really in control but being manipulated, a parallel that seems to be similar to what we're seeing currently with President Coulson in Heroes Reborn, who also seems to not be in control of his own mind right now. Nighthawk would later become the newly elected president and would take over in the Earth 712 reality. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it, you want to learn more about the Squadron Supreme and the people that are on it, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Number 6, first superhero civil war. After the Squadron Supreme had taken a more active role in running their own world and acquired more and more power in an attempt to do more and more good, they also found a new way to handle supervillains. Instead of imprisoning them in the negative zone like we see in Heroes Reborn, the Squadron Supreme of Earth 712 would create technology and basically use it to wipe the villains' minds and then transform them instead into heroes. This, however, became a controversial method for dealing with the villains amongst the squad, causing Nighthawk to create a team made up of heroes and villains specifically brought together to take on the Squadron. In other words, to take them down. This was actually Marvel's first superhero civil war, as it happened way before the first Civil War event, and instead took place back in the first Squadron Supreme series out of 1985. 1985, that is so much earlier than I would have guessed if someone had quizzed me on that. So yeah, that's a good one for a trivia night. In fact, I feel like you might actually break your trivia master because they might have the wrong answer for that question, and then you're like, well, actually, everyone loves all of us nerds because we always say, oh, but actually. That's all right. It's cool to know facts. Share the facts. Be nice to each other, that's all I ask. Number 5, team roster. The initial version of the team that appeared in the comics would be the Squadron Sinister historically, in terms of chronology. This team only had a few members. Dr. Spectrum, obviously meant to represent Green Lantern, Hyperion as kind of a Superman character, Nighthawk as Batman figure, and Whizzer, the Flash stand-in. The technically original Squadron Supreme, however, who was created afterward chronologically, but lore-wise explained to be obviously the inspiration for Grandmaster's Squadron Sinister, had even more members than the villainous team we were first introduced to. This version of the team also did not yet feature Power Princess, so sorry Power Princess fans, not talking about her here. Fun fact, on the front page of the comic where they were first introduced, they were also alluded to as being the same Squadron Sinister returned, but we'd of course later learn who they really were. Squadron Supreme. The Squadron Supreme roster here was introduced as Nighthawk, American Eagle, Dr. Spectrum, Hawkeye, Hyperion, Lady Lark, Tom Thumb, and Whizzer. All hailing, of course, from Earth 712, or 712. I don't know if it's going to bother people that I'm saying 712, but I just like the way it sounds, so sorry if it bothers you, I guess. What do you all like better in the comments? Do you prefer Earth 712, or are you with me? Do you think 712 just sounds good? Good to the ears. Number 4, Supreme Power. Yeah, back when the Max comics were a thing, almost everyone got one apparently, including Squadron Supreme. Of course they did. Their Max comic series was called Supreme Power. I love that name. The series was written by J. Michael Straczynski with art by Gary Frank and John Sabal. The series lasted 18 issues and offered a more adult take on the members of the Squadron Supreme team from Marvel Comics. In the first issue, we are introduced to Hyperion, who crash-landed to Earth in an alien space pod. But instead of being retrieved and adopted by a well-meaning local couple, he ends up being taken by the government, growing up a ward of the state and raised mostly in isolation. Anyone else getting Homelander vibes here? Is it just me? Of course, this series predates The Boys, having run from 2003 to 2005, and I think the first issue of The Boys is like 2011, so yeah. Number 3, last series. The last appearance we had of Squadron Supreme in their own series was in Volume 4 of the Squadron Supreme series from 2016. This series wasn't even made up of the Squadron Supreme that originally appeared in the comics either, from Earth 712. Instead, this team was made up of a ragtag crew of Squadron members from alternate realities, much like the Exiles team, if you will. They were all alternate versions of established characters, a team made up of surviving refugees from alternate worlds that were affected and even in some cases destroyed by the incursions. In the end, the team kind of splintered off, each member going their own way, as we got set up for Civil War II to take place in the Marvel Universe. Number 2, last appearance. However, while 2016 was the last Squadron Supreme series we got, or is at least currently in 2021, we would still see Squadron Supreme appear in the comics again. Now, this version of the team was assembled by Agent Phil Coulson and appears in Jason Aaron's Avengers in issue 10 from 2018. The new Squadron Supreme team we see here is of course very much inspired by the original team, but also might look and sound very familiar if you've been keeping up with comics lately. This team was government run and was managed by Agent Coulson. In reality, the members were constructs created by Mephisto and programmed by the Power Elite. Here, Stanley Stewart also has the name of Blur instead of Whizzer. Am I ringing any bells? Anyone? Anyone? Number 1, Heroes Reborn Squadron Supreme of America. The Heroes Reborn Squadron Supreme is known as the Squadron Supreme of America, the same name given to the team that appeared in 2018. Huh, very interesting. The Squadron Supreme here also appears to be managed by Phil Coulson, who is president in the 2021 Heroes Reborn reality. I'm not saying this version of the team is a one-to-one of the version that we saw in Avengers, but there are definitely some major similarities and some overlap that I think we need to acknowledge. Here, Stanley Stewart, the team's version of the Flash, is also named the Blur. We still don't know where exactly this version of the team came from, what reality they hail from, if they're constructs, or what exactly is going on yet. But we can definitely craft theories as to where they came from and what could be in store for them next. Get out your little tinfoil hats, everyone. Let me know your Heroes Reborn theories in the comments. What is your favorite member of the Squadron Supreme team? Sounds so weird to say it like that. Squadron Supreme team. Do you hope we'll see more of the Squadron? Did you know about this team before Heroes Reborn, or is the knowledge of their existence super new to you? Let us know in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.